Hi, I'm Chef Gail Sokol and welcome to my kitchen. Today it's all about St. Patrick's Day, an absolutely delicious, chocolatey, full of whiskey dessert. And we are making a fudgy Irish whiskey cake that is spectacular and rich and creamy and decadent. And it's gluten-free. So anybody that needs something gluten-free and can't have that, this is the perfect dessert for you, and really super easy. But before we get started, I'd like you to click that notification button because I want you to become a subscriber. I don't want you to miss any of my tips or videos because they're awesome, and I love having you here with me. It's like having friends in the kitchen while I'm baking. So, fudgy Irish whiskey cake. It's really absolutely the easiest thing ever. And it is so rich and decadent. So the first thing you want to do is preheat your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. I've also boiled some water in my teapot because I need to make a hot water bath. And by that I mean I'm going to make like a moat, sort of like a castle, between my cake pan and a larger pan, either a roasting pan or a larger cake pan, and fill that space with water, which actually will create a very, a little more of a calmer baking atmosphere for our batter, which is full of eggs and sugar and chocolate, and nothing will get overcooked too quickly. It's just a more gentle way of heating everything. So what I did was I took a 9-inch springform pan, you know, the type that you make cheesecake in, sprayed it with nonstick cooking spray, and then I took a big, really heavy-duty piece of foil, aluminum foil, and I put my pan right on top of it and then pushed the sides up. You don't want to push the sides into the pan, you just want to push them up the sides. Because a springform pan has that false bottom, and we don't want any of our water to leak into our pan. So I got this ready. I'm putting it into my larger cake pan. If you don't have a larger cake pan, you can use a roasting pan, that's fine. I have my boiling water ready, and it's gonna probably be pretty hot, but not super boiling when I'm ready, but it just gets the whole atmosphere ready. So everything gets nice and jiggy in the oven, and everything cooks at a nice even temperature. So, fudgy Irish whiskey cake. The other thing I did to make it fudgy is I took 3/4 cup of heavy cream, brought it to a boil or maybe a simmer just under the boil in a small saucepan, and I added 2 cups. I took it off the heat after it came to a boil, and then I put in 2 cups of high quality semi-sweet chocolate chips, and I whisked it till it got nice and smooth and chocolatey yummy. That's the basis for our whiskey cake. And this is what makes it fudgy. So I'm letting it, I poured it into a bowl, and I'm letting it get to sort of a cooler state. It doesn't have to be cold, but cooler, because we don't want to actually curdle our eggs before it even gets into the oven. We want to cook our eggs, not curdle them. Here I have 6 large eggs, and I'm going to put it into my electric mixing bowl. Alrighty. And 1/2 cup of granulated sugar. I'm going to put that right in there. And you don't need that much sugar because you have semi-sweet chocolate. And if you get really high quality semi-sweet, it's pretty sweet, so you don't need that much, because we're going to top this with some whipped cream that's embellished with a little whiskey. All right, so before we even get started, we're going to add, you got it, Irish whiskey, and 3 tablespoons of Irish whiskey. All right, yeah, put that right in there. Our eggs are going to be schnookered. And we're going to put our whip attachment on, all right, so the whip attachment. And we're going to beat this until it gets pale yellow. I'm going to start slow and work our way up. And we want it to get nice and beaten for maybe about 4 or 5 minutes. All right, we're going to let it go so that the yellow of the yolks will lighten, because everything is going to have air into it. And then we're going to gently mix in our chocolate cream mixture. That's our batter. I'm not kidding. This is amazing, very simple. So I'm going to get our pan ready so that once we get this completely beaten, and it's not going to look that much different than it does now, it's just going to be a little bit slightly thicker because of the air beaten into our eggs and our sugar, and the whiskey is going to flavor it very delicately. And then we're going to top it after it's baked with some whiskeyed whipped cream. And then I have some confectionery coating that I'm going to melt in green color. We're just going to drizzle it on top. So much fun. So when you cut through, you're going to see the fudgy cake, the whipped cream, and the green on top. Really, really nice. All right. So you're not going to see anything really, really different. I'm just going to show you. Okay. See, it's very thin. There's nothing really. There's really, really nothing. Let me just show you real quick. Nothing really to see here. But you can see that I'm going to go. It's very foamy. Now, some people beat this till it makes what they call a ribbon. Maybe you've heard this before. So a ribbon means that it gets viscous enough that when you stop the machine and take your whip attachment off, the batter falls down onto the bottom of the bowl, sort of like in a fold, almost like it looks like a ribbon, sort of. Here, we're not going to worry about it that much because that would give it structure. A lot of sponge cakes do that. Here, we're going to add our chocolate on low speed, and that's going to give it a lot of structure. So we don't need to make an actual ribbon here. All right, I'm going to go on low speed. All right. So I would beat this for about maybe 3-4 minutes, up to 5 minutes, and then I'm going to slowly pour this in. Do this on low speed, okay? Or else you're going to be wearing it. So I'm just going to put this in. Okay, my chocolate and my cream. Don't eat it. It's delicious. Don't eat it. Because it's really ganache. That's what you're really making. Heavy on the chocolate. And you're just going to put that in here. And I'm seeing my batter turn dark, which is what I want. That's the fudgy part, right? We wouldn't have it any other way. And when this type of a cake bakes, it's going to get crackly on top. And that's what I love about it. It's almost like a giant brownie, almost like a giant fudge brownie. So we're going to get all that chocolate in here. We're just about there. And then I'm going to fold in anything that's sort of settled on the bottom. So let me show you. It might have settled a little bit on the bottom. And we're going to get this off. So it's relatively thin batter, and that's the way it should be. Don't worry. Nothing wrong. All right. And I'm going to show you. But you're going to see how nice and light that is? It's sort of, it's thin. It almost looks like a brownie batter, a lighter brownie batter. I'm going to move that over, and I'm going to move my pan close. And I'm going to get around. There's always that little bloop, that little dip that looks like a belly button in the bottom of a mixer, like an Audi belly button. So you want to make sure that you just fold it. You don't want to deflate anything. And then I'm going to pour it into my pan. And that's it. That's the batter. I mean, it's so super easy. You could do this, anytime. This freezes beautifully. You wouldn't freeze it now. You'd freeze it after baking, of course. And then what you're going to do is bake it for about 40 minutes at 350 degrees Fahrenheit with this little moat, this little hot water bath in there, this little bain-marie that actually keeps it from getting the eggs from overheating. All right, so You don't even really have to spread it too much, but it's beautiful. And the top may crack a little, and that's what I love about it. It will look like it has a skin, like almost like a crusty skin, and that's how you know if it's done. You don't want to put a knife into it because it will crack and everything, even though we're going to cover it with whipped cream. So what I'm going to do is I am going to get my hot water ready, get this to my oven, and I'll see you back. So I'm at the oven. I have pulled out my rack, which is what I like to do. I remove the top rack. The oven is at 350, and I'm taking my hot water and I'm pouring it halfway up my larger roasting pan, in this case a cake pan, just halfway up. And then I will stop and shut the oven and let it bake for 40 minutes until it gets nice and crackly on the top. And then I'm going to remove it from that water, and I will see you back. So my Fudgy Irish whiskey cake came out of the oven in that bain-marie, so that pan within a pan, okay, so the springform pan. I took it out of the water with the foil around it still after 40 minutes at 350 degrees Fahrenheit, and it cooled very quickly. I took the foil off, peeled it like a banana, okay, took it off, and then cut around with a small sharp knife around the edges of that pan and just released the sides of the pan. And then I put it in my refrigerator to get nice and cold. It's beautiful. And it does look slightly crackled on top and firm, like it's got like a layer of just beautiful sugary firmness. And that's exactly what it's supposed to look like. That's very typical for this type of cake. And now we're going to top it off with some beautiful Irish whiskey cream. So in my electric mixing bowl, I have 1 cup of very cold, heavy cream. It's got to be cold. Cream will not beat up if it's not very cold. And that's another reason why my Fudgy Irish whiskey cake had to be chilled in the fridge, or at least cooled down completely. Or the heavy cream, once you beat it up, you might as well not even beat it up because it would just melt all over a hot cake. Okay, 2 tablespoons of Irish whiskey. Got to have Irish whiskey in that whipped cream topping. And then I have 1 teaspoon of pure vanilla extract. It just balances out the whiskey, and it's just lovely in there. And then 3 tablespoons of confectioner's sugar. Put it all in together, and then put it on warp speed. And you know my hack, okay? We've always go through this. My hack is basically cover the bowl with a clean kitchen towel so you don't get heavy cream all over you. All right, and just put it all the way up. And I'm going to go grab a rubber spatula so that we can spread it on here. You can even use an offset spatula, which I'm going to get. So we'll see what we want to do, but I'm going to take it out with a rubber spatula. Now, because there was a lot of ingredients in here, I may need to push it down a little bit because we had confectioner's sugar and the whiskey, so we want to get everything in the pool. And lock, load, and all the way up. Okay, so we're not there yet. So I want stiff peaks. In the meantime, I got some green colored confectionery coating, which is basically like those little discs that you can melt. Some grocery stores have them, kitchen supply stores, and these are different colors. And I thought for St. Patrick's Day we would do green and just sort of drizzle it over the whipped cream. It would be delicious and sort of tells you what to expect and why we're doing this. The green is for St. Patrick's Day. Why not? And if you don't like doing that, you don't have to. I still want to go more. Go big or go home. I want stiff peaks. So when you hold that whipped cream up, it holds up really strong. And then when you put it on here, it's going to look nice and big and tall. You can pipe it if you want to out of a freezer bag or out of a pastry bag with a star pastry tip. I don't think it's necessary. It's so good. You don't even have to do that. Okay, we are there. We are there. We are there. We are there. And it's just enough that I think you don't need too much. And you don't want to get a little schnookered just from smelling the whipped cream, but yum. Yum, yum, yum. All right, so you see how nice and fluffy that is? Beautiful, right? I'm going to move this mixer over a little bit. Our star attraction. All right, I'm just going to go around and go around the bowl like I always do. And I'm just going to gently put this on top. You can even leave it just in the middle if you wanted. You could do whatever you wanted. It's your St. Patty's Day. Any way you want it, you can have it. Okay? I'm going to spread it, and we'll see how it looks. I'm going to, oh, look at that. Oh, yum. And then we're going to drizzle our green confectionery coating melted goodness on here. And you want to make sure these get a little bit cooler because you don't want it, again, to deflate your hard-working whipped cream topping, which we have. And I'm just going to sort of go, you know, a little crazy, not nuts, but just sort of all over the place. So it's really like wild and crazy. You know, you don't even have, I'm not even going down the sides. I don't think it's necessary. Just, okay? Oh my goodness. Okay. Yes. And it's not that much Irish whiskey. It's really not. So what I'm going to do is take a fork, and here we go. I'm just going to drizzle over it. Okay. Just so it looks pretty. Sort of crazy. And if you wanted to put a Happy St. Patty's Day sign on it, but you don't have to. It just makes it look a little special. It is special. St. Patrick's Day is special. It's a lot of fun. Ooh, I'm Jackson Pollock. That's what I am. Oh my goodness. I don't get $1 million for these though. Actually, multi-million dollars for these. Anyway, I am going to continue drizzling, but I really want you to make this beautiful fudgy chocolate Irish whiskey cake for St. Patrick's Day or any day. And I want you to become a subscriber more than anything. And I want you to keep watching my videos and tips. Until next time.